is up, everybody? Squiiddish here, and today we're gonna play some Magic the Gathering. Except this time we're gonna play a game against the AI. Now, I've posted a couple Magic videos already, and I've realized that apparently I'm actually not the only person on the planet who's never played Magic before. Apparently a lot of you haven't. So, this is kind of gonna be like a what the hell am I watching video. I'm gonna play this against the AI because there's no time limits while I'm playing the AI. I can go relatively slowly. I can explain everything that I'm doing and how the game works, just kind of the basics, so that those of you that are either interested in Magic or interested in this Duels of the Planeswalker video game, or just want to be able to watch the videos and know what's going on and get why things are funny, will be able to watch and still be entertained. That's what I'm here to do. I entertain. Now the game starts pretty simply. You draw 7 cards. Now, if you get a hand that you don't like very much, you have the option to take what's called a mulligan and draw a new hand of 7 cards. I'm not a big fan of this hand because the only creatures I have are very, very late game and I'll be too exposed early on. So I'm going to take a mulligan. But this hand is equally terrible because it only has 1 mana and is still full of late game creatures. I'm going to have to mulligan again, which means I only get 6 cards. This hand I can work with, so I'll go ahead and take this. It's still not good, but it's better than what I had before. We're going to let Odric do his due and ignore his turn. We'll explain what's going on when it flips over to mine. Now to start your turn, you draw a card. I got a 2-mana creature. This is pretty useful because I was still lacking any real early game. Turn 3 was the earliest I had with this leatherback Baloth. Now, on your turn, you have the ability to play a mana. You can play 1 mana on your turn. Mana are these cards right here that just have a picture of a big-ass tree, or, in his case, the sun, or, you know, whatever on them. It's your resource you use to play everything. You want to play one of these literally every single turn if possible, so you can play the biggest creatures possible. It's all I can do this turn because I don't have any turn 1 available to me, so I'm just going to have to take 1 damage from this Doomed Traveler. I'll explain the combat more when there's, you know, stuff on the board and options. It's going to flip back over to my turn. I'm going to throw down a mountain, you'll see 2 of my cards light up. The card I drew last turn, and the card I drew this turn, because I'm able to play any of them. Let's take a look at this guy I'm about to throw down. He's pretty straightforward. Up in the top right, you see 2 little circles with trees in them. That's the mana cost of this card. Pretty simply, I have to tap 2 forests to play Garruk's Companion. I have 2 forests, so I'm going to play Garruk's Companion. Down to the field with ye. Now, I can't play anything else this turn, so it's going to go ahead and jump through my turn. That's alright. We'll see what Odric has to answer. If he does something unpleasant to this Garruk's Companion, I'm kind of okay with that, because it's not a very great creature. He's going to play Attended Knight, a 2/2, that comes in with a 1/1 white soldier token. Also, it has First Strike. That's pretty obnoxious, but that's alright. I can still deal with this. I'm going to let this hit the field. I don't really have any option, honestly. I kind of has to hit the field. I have nothing to say about this. So let's go ahead and throw down another mana here. And now I have a few options. Let's go ahead and look at the state of the field right now and kind of explain what's going on with creatures. As you can see, each creature has 2 numbers that define its stats. Let's take a look at my Garruk and talk about him. He's a 3/2. The first number is his power, the second is his toughness. Effectively, it's his damage and his life. If Garruk's Companion attacks, he's going to do 3 damage. He can take 2 before he dies. If I were to attack with Garruk's Companion, he would do 3 damage to Odric, but Odric would have the option to block with any or all of his creatures. He has a 2/2 creature here that only has 2 damage and 2 life. So normally, if he were to block, Garruk would do 3 to the Attendant Knight, the Attendant Knight would do 2 to Garruk, and both would die. However, the Attendant Knight has First Strike, which means he deals his combat damage before other creatures. He would deal 2 damage and kill Garruk's Companion before Garruk was able to deal his damage. Pretty poopy. Seeing as I don't have any mana in my hand and it's possible I could end up mana screwed pretty quickly, I'm going to throw down Nature's Lore. 2-cost card that puts another forest on the battlefield. This is just some quick and easy mana acceleration. What this means is I'm going to get another land, and I'm going to be able to throw down the Lightning Greaves. I might as well, I have nothing else to play. These Greaves are an artifact that I can equip to any creature that will give my creature Shroud and Haste. Shroud means my creature cannot be targeted by anything, ever. Haste means it can attack on the turn it's put down. As you see, the two creatures he played last turn have a little purple shimmer over them. That's Summoning Sickness. They can't attack or tap the turn they enter the battlefield. I'm going to go ahead and equip this to Garruk's Companion, just for the Shroud effect. The Haste has no use because he's already been on the field for a turn, but the Shroud will ensure that Odric doesn't do anything to remove Garruk's Companion from the field. Odric's deck has a lot of annoying crap that can remove things from the field, so this is going to be useful. I'm not going to attack because, as we said, he'll just be killed by the Attendant Knight, so we're going to pass the turn over. Odric's going to put down his 4th mana and then play a Night Guard Patrol, a 2/1 with First Strike and Vigilance. Vigilance means the creature won't attack when he attacks. Won't tap when he attacks. Words are hard for me sometimes. And First Strike is that annoying pile of shit that means you can kill Garruk's Companion. However, without haste, you won't be able to swing this turn. Same situation. I could block the Intended Knight, but I would simply lose Garruk's Companion. I'll go ahead and take the 2 damage. I don't really care. I'm in no imminent danger of death. This mana was the ideal situation. Throwing this down will give me 5, which means I'm able to play anything I have on the table. I can play the Sentinel Spider, a 4/4 with Vigilance and Reach. Reach simply means you can block flying creatures. Or I could play the Vorapede, a 5/4 with Vigilance, Trample, and Undying. Normally, if this 5/4 were to be blocked by, say, a 1/1 creature, the fight is simply between the Vorapede and that little soldier over there. So even though I have a ton more damage than it takes to kill him, Odric himself won't take any damage. Trample means that all the excess damage is going to bleed through onto Odric and hurt him lots. Undying means that the first time the Vorapede is killed, he doesn't leave the battlefield. Well, he does, but he'll be right back and stronger than before, with +1/+1 on his power and toughness. I'm going to throw down this Vorapede and attempt to hit Odric in the face as hard as I possibly can. To do that, I'm going to use the Lightning Greaves, giving my Vorapede haste, meaning he can attack the turn he comes into the field. He could kill this Vorapede, but he would have to block it with multiple creatures. He has 2 creatures out there that deal 2 damage, and both have First Strike. So if he were to block my Vorapede with both, the Vorapede would die without doing any damage. However, the Attended Knight is tapped, meaning he's unavailable to block. He could still block with all 3 of the rest of his creatures. The Vorapede would kill all of them, but die himself. However, he would come back immediately with the 1/1 as a 6/5. In addition, the Vorapede has Trample. Or, not Trample, Vigilance, meaning, as I said, he doesn't tap. I can make this attack and still have the Vorapede available to block attackers next turn. Let's see what Odric decides to do. He's going to block it with his Doom Traveler. A pretty good call. Odric is still going to take 4 damage due to Trample, but the Doom Traveler is going to give him this 1/1 Spirit token with Flying. I have no way to block a flying creature yet, so for the moment, that's 1 free damage that'll get through next turn. It's currently all he can attack with without suiciding creatures into the Vorapede. Let's pass it on over to Odric and see what he has in response. He's going to throw down his mana for the turn, and he's going to go right into his combat phase. Like I said, he'll attack with the Spirit as I have no way to block it, and I'm going to take 1 damage. Right now, the fight's at 16-16. It's a pretty damn close battle. 3 mana is going to bring out the Fiend Hunter, which is a pretty annoying son of a bitch, who's only 1/3, but when he enters the battlefield, he exiles a target creature until he himself is killed. Now, fortunately, I equipped the Lightning Greaves on the Vorapede. This would be a great counter to a very strong creature that can't be killed if he didn't have Shroud, so he can't be targeted by the Fiend Hunter's ability. It means he's going to pick up Garruk's Companion, which I'm alright with. Garruk's Companion could easily be blocked by either of the first striking creatures. He's really pretty much just there to block the Soldier token right now. Take him. I drew another mana. That's not helpful at this immediate moment, but mana is always good. Like I said, you want to try to play 1 every turn. We're going to throw down the biggest creature we have. Well, actually, we're not, because I guess the Leatherback Baloth is technically slightly bigger. We're going to throw in the Sentinel Spider, because the Sentinel Spider has 2 abilities that are very useful to us right now. Vigilance and Reach. I can attack and still block, and he's able to block that pesky 1/1 flying token. Let's put him on the field. Now, in order for him to attack this turn, I'm going to need to give him the Lightning Greaves. This allows him to have haste, meaning I can attack with both of my creatures. The Sentinel Spider could potentially be double blocked by both of the first striking creatures if he were to do so, which would kill the Sentinel Spider. I'm actually not positive I want to attack with him right now. That would assure the Vorapede is going to get a lot of damage through onto Odric, but for right now, I'd actually rather hang on to the Sentinel Spider and make sure he stays alive. We're going to move the boots back over to the Vorapede for the Shroud effect, and then attack with Vorapede. Vorapede could still be killed by double blocking first strikers, but he's going to come back with Undying, so at the end of the day, it really doesn't make a difference. If he wants to make my Vorapede stronger, that's his prerogative. He's going to take the 5 damage, dropping him to 11. Since Vorapede doesn't tap, I now have 2 very powerful blockers available. He's going to have to be careful what he attacks with. Now, Odric does have a lot of babysitting, like that Fiend Hunter, so he could very easily take the Sentinel Spider off the field, and he's going to with this Oblivion Ring. This is pretty much just the Fiend Hunter in enchantment form. Sentinel Spider's going to leave the battlefield unless I can find a way to get rid of that Oblivion Ring. While this deck does have a variety of ways to wipe off the Oblivion Ring, I don't have any in my hand. I'm going to have to hope I draw some. Fog's a pretty useful card. 1 mana to prevent all combat damage dealt for a turn. Can't ask for a better deal than that. Right now, though, we're going to throw down the Leatherback Baloth, since he's big enough to survive the assault from both first striking creatures. I'm going to give him the Lightning Greaves so he can attack this turn, and we're going to swing with both of them. Now, the Leatherback Baloth does not have Vigilance, so of course he's going to tap and be unavailable to block, but that's fine because I have a big-ass motherfucking Vorapede who will block if I need to. Take 9 damage. If Odric decides to eat all of this, he'll be dropped to 2. It's incredibly unlikely because since the Leatherback Baloth doesn't have any variety of trample, he can simply use his baby little 1/1 creature, or his 2/1, or any baby moron to block him with, and he'll take no damage, which I'm sure he'll do. We're going to see him block with a 1/1. He's going to pop Raise the Alarm, which throws 2 more 1/1 white soldiers onto the battlefield. Not positive why. He might be trying to multi-block up the Baloth. He's going to. Alright, so he's going to kill the Vorapede, and he's going to block the damage from the Baloth. This is going to send the Vorapede to the graveyard, but like I said, he's going to come back even bigger. I'm fine with that. We're going to move the Lightning Greaves back over to the Vorapede just to make sure he is immune to any sort of babysitting shenanigans. And we're going to move on with our turn. I'm okay with that trade. That was a pretty good play by Odric, though, because he didn't take any damage at all, and he was able to pop Undying on the Vorapede. That's something he needs to do. That's step 1 for getting rid of an Undying asshole, is to make the Undying go away. But now he has a horde of weenies on the battlefield, which is quite annoying. Mana's the last thing I need in this situation, so that's a pretty unfortunate draw. We're gonna have to move on. I can hit Odric for 10 damage. He has a lot of first strikers available, but he has no way to kill either of my creatures without losing a lot of his own, because he only has 4 total damage in first strike. Odric has 1 card in his hand, though, and he has all of his mana untapped. So it's possible Odric could be waiting to make some sort of turnaround play with a buff to his creatures to wipe out mine. If he does, though, I can pull my own tricks. I can throw down Fog and prevent all combat damage, keeping my creatures alive. At the end of the day, my best idea right now is just to keep swinging for the fences with these huge assholes. See what Odric decides to do. Let's take a second to assess the situation here. The 4/5 is once again being blocked by a 1/1 soldier token. The Vorapede is being blocked by both the first striking creatures and another 1/1 soldier token. If I let this go through, everything involved in this engagement except for the Baloth is going to die. This is I'm okay with this trade. It's not the best trade in the world, but it was what he was probably going to do, and I'm okay with sacrificing my Vorapede to get both of his first striking creatures off of the battlefield. Although they have first strike, their first strike is only going to do 4 damage, so Vorapede's damage is going to come out with the 1/1 soldier token. I'll let this go. Simply assign damage to all creatures, and everything will die. Now I can move the boots over to the Leatherback Baloth, just to make sure that he doesn't get stuck in daycare, because he's now my only creature. Odric is down to 9 health, though, because he was still trampled through 2 damage by the Vorpede. I'm going to take 2 damage, but lol, whatever. It's 2 damage. I still have a fog in case shit gets hairy. A 3/1 a quarter paladin is a bit of a problem, because he will give a +1 buff to everyone attacking with him when he swings. We need to find a way to get rid of that. And then, of course, we have the Flying Squadron Hawk, who can't be blocked by anyone who doesn't fly or doesn't have a special rule to block him. And when he enters the battlefield, he allows Odric to draw more Squadron Hawks out of his deck. He'll probably play another one this turn. This does mean Odric is top deck. That means he has no cards in his hand. There's no tricks Odric can pull. So if anything bad happens, that's my own mistake at this point. Drawing mana is a terrible situation. A terrible situation to be in right now. This is horrible. There is no worse card I could have drawn than mana. I could swing with my 4/5. He could block it with all 3 of his creatures and lose them all. He might do that, but he'll probably just drop to 5 health. Either way, honestly, I'm okay with getting 2 unblockable flying creatures and a battle cry off the table for a simple 4/5. If he wants to trade, I'll trade. If not, he's down to 5. I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't chump block it with one of his flyers. But I'm going to take a lot of damage this turn. Fiend Hunter's going to come out and unfortunately be unable to exile my Baloth because of the boots. I'm totally happy with this. It means a Fiend Hunter's effect has been completely wasted. Odric is going to swing with everything on the planet. Battlecry is going to buff up all his other creatures. So I'm going to play Fog to prevent all the damage that's going to be coming in this turn. A good call. He would have just hit me for 11, leaving me at 1 health. His only untapped creature now is the Fiend Hunter. He'll have to block with it if he doesn't want to take himself down to 1 life. Unfortunately, if I attack with the Baloth, I have nothing available to block with, and since my deck is giving me crap, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull out this battle. This is getting pretty close. What the best option is right now is probably just to wait on my Baloth and leave him as a blocker. He'll probably simply block with the Fiend Hunter, and then hit me for at least 11 damage next turn. I want to block the Battlecry Paladin if at all possible. If he decides to simply attack with his 3/1/1s, I can handle 3 damage. Odric's drawing just as bad as I am, but he's in a better board position right now. As I guessed, he attacked with everything. So we're going to block his a quarter... Oh no, hold on, did he let... Oh, is he attacking with this? I could get Garruk's Companion out. Alright, I got options right now. I could get Garruk's Companion out of daycare, which would give me a second creature I so desperately need, that also has trample. I'm going to do that, because I may have enough damage to take him down this turn. The Battle-Crying Paladin is going to have to wait. This is going to get really hairy, because I'm going to be very low on health right now. The Sprindlebore, while not usually a great card, may be life-saving. I'm able to play him for 3 mana and immediately sacrifice him for 4 HP. Which is pretty helpful. It might actually be in my best interest to not sacrifice him. Nah, I need to sacrifice him. We're going to get the 4 HP. Bringing me back up to 7. Now, right now, I'm not sure. I could swing with both. He has a 1/1 flying token that would block the 4/5. The 4/5, unfortunately, does not have trample. So he would take 3 damage and be down to 2, lose his flyer, but next turn, he would swing for much more than 7, and I would be dead. Most of his cards are flying, though, and I'm going to take a lot of damage, but I need to keep both of these creatures on the field to block his second Fiend Hunter and his a quarter Paladin. I can block and destroy them both without losing either of my own creatures. Actually, no, yeah, I can... Now I'm going to lose the Garruk's Companion, but that's okay. I'll trade the Garruk's Companion for his Battlecry Paladin. I'm alright with that. We need blockers right now. We need to make sure he doesn't finish me off. Now, if Odric draws a good card, this could very well be the end of the game. He's going to simply attack with pretty much everything he has. And we're going to need to set up some blockers. We're going to block the Paladin with my large Trample Man. And we're going to block the Fiend Hunter with this guy. taking 4 damage. Both of his creatures will die, as well as my Garruk's companion. I am down to 3, though, and I need to prevent this exact turn, or the game is over. I either need to end this, or find a way to stop his flying assault, because the 3/1/1s will destroy me. Obstinate Baloth is a beautiful card. A beautiful card that may carry the game for me right now. The main effect I'm concerned with is the fact that he gives me 4 life when he enters the battlefield. That's incredibly helpful. This will bring me up to a level where I can survive the impending flyer assault. I fucked up horribly and didn't move the boots over before combat started. So now I'm completely and totally fucked because this game is kind of poopy in how it functions. Because realistically, I should be able to equip my boots over to the Obstinate Baloth and attack with him. This game's kind of special ed sometimes with how it handles controls. There's no reason I should not be able to equip the boots to the Obstinate Baloth and attack, but because the game has decided we need to go into the combat phase this exact instant, I wasn't given an opportunity to switch him over. I may lose this game because Planeswalkers is kind of a terrible simulator for Magic the Gathering. If you're looking at getting into Magic, really just do the actual cards. Duels is a terrible game that I hate every time I play it, because something like this happens every single fucking time. This is retarded. There is no reason I should not be able to attack for 8 damage and bring Odric to 1 life right now, but because of this game's shitty fucking controls, I might still lose. We're gonna attack with this, who is simply gonna be blocked by his 1/1 flyer, and Odric's gonna remain at 4 life. Or 5 life. This is retarded, because Odric should currently be at 1 life right now. This is beyond the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. At least Obstinate Baloth's 4 heal is going to keep me alive for the time being. If Odric does attack with both of his creatures, though, the game is going to be over. Glorious Anthem is going to mean his creatures are going to hit me for 1 additional each. So instead of taking 3 damage, I'm now going to be taking 5. If I lose this game, there literally just might not be a video tomorrow. Like, I might not even upload. Unfortunately, the Ring of Stupidity gives his creature Vigilance, so it's still going to be available to block this turn, so I'm not going to be able to end the game. He used it just to keep the Squadron Hawk available to attack. I drew a Brindlebore. Brindlebore will give me 4 life, bringing me up to 6, but that's not enough to survive the impending assault. However, I don't need to, because it is enough to give me the damage I need to take down Odric. As long as the game doesn't arbitrarily decide it wants to go ahead and skip, allowing me to move the Lightning Greaves over to my pig here, I'm going to be able to hit him for 10 damage, and he's going to be able to block at most 4 of it, as he only has 1 untapped creature and no cards in his hand. Since the game has decided to function and let me move the boots over, we should have this. As I attack with everything, at least 6 damage is going to leak through, no matter what Odric decides to do. This is going to bring his life to 0. And he blocks the board because he's a fucking idiot. I'm gonna sacrifice it just to spite his fucking face and do 8 damage. Fuck you, Odric. Fuck you. That was probably the most calm rage moment I've ever had in my life, because I was like Binding of Isaac no damage run level pissed when it decided to not let me put my Greaves on the Obstinate Bailiff. Really, I guess at the end of the day it didn't make a difference because of that card I drew, but if I hadn't drawn a creature right then, like if I'd drawn mana and would have lost, I probably would have rage uninstalled this game again, and there just wouldn't have been a video tomorrow. So we're lucky. We're lucky the deck has given us its glorious bounty. But that's the basics of Magic. This is Squiiddish. I'm gonna go punch about 7 more holes in my wall. Good day. So I've posted a couple of these Magic the Gathering videos already, and I have come to the and right now I'm just kind of hoping I draw something that's not mana. He's going to throw down the 2nd Squadron Hawk he pull out of his deck, and possibly pull out a 3rd if he wants to. Looks like he's not going to. So if I draw mana, we have a... after a successful pig punch, there's not really anything else I can do this turn. So I'm going to pass it over, and he's going to play another Fiend Hunter. This might well win him the game because he's going to be able to take Sentinel Spider off the field. There's nothing I can do about this without killing the Fiend Hunter. Right now, this is becoming a massive problem. I'm going to take another 5 damage this turn because my pig is tapped and unable to block.